Imagine sitting in a foxhole at night in Vietnam, surrounded by enemy soldiers ready to storm your position. But then you hear the drone of 20-year-old engines, followed by a rain of bullets breaking up the enemy attack. As you hear the enemy retreat back into the night, you tank the Angel above you. In a nutshell, you tank the AC-47 Spooky. At the start of World War II, the United States Army Air Force needed a cargo plane to ferry goods and troops. In 1936, American Airlines had just introduced the DC-3, the latest passenger plane from Douglas. It made sense to use a modified version of the DC-3. The new cargo plane, baptized as the C-47 Skytrain, differed in numerous ways from its civilian brother. The floor was strengthened, a cargo door was fitted on the side, and the tail was shortened to tow gliders. A small astrodome in the cabin roof helped to navigate the stars during night flights. If you like this style and subject of videos, you can support my channel by subscribing and clicking the like button. Furthermore, if you have suggestions for future topics, feel free to add them in the comments. Project Tailchaser, conducted at Eglin Air Force Base, investigated whether a cargo plane with side-mounted guns could provide adequate air cover. Under guidance of Captain John Simmons, a single Convair C-131B was equipped with a single minigun firing out of the left side of the aircraft. All the pilot had to do was fly in a pylon turn to hit a stationary target. The tests proved successful but were aborted due to a lack of funding. In 1964, Captain Ron Terry returned from a tour in South Vietnam. In Vietnam there were no regular front lines like in World War II or Korea. In many cases, the troops defending outposts or fortified hamlets had to deal with NVA and Viet Cong attacks coming from all directions. Because the Americans had air superiority above South Vietnam, these attacks usually took place at night under the cover of darkness. To help the defenders of these outposts, cargo planes would drop flares to illuminate the night. Having noticed the usefulness of the cargo planes, Captain Terry wondered whether an aircraft with side-mounted guns, like in Project Tailchaser, could boost the defense of these outposts and hamlets. By December 1964, Terry's team arrived back in Vietnam with the equipment to convert two C-47s into newly dubbed FC-47s, equipped with 3 miniguns. By mid-December, both aircraft were ready and assigned to protect villages, hamlets, and personnel against Viet Cong attacks. On the night of December 23rd, a Special Forces outpost at Trang Ninh called in for air support. An FC-47 answered the call and broke the Viet Cong attack with 4,500 rounds of ammunition. Another outpost, some 20 miles away, then called for help also. The aircraft headed that way and forced the Viet Cong to withdraw. Between December 15th and December 26th, these two FC-47s would conduct 16 successful combat sorties. On February 8, 1965, a single FC-47 circled for 4 hours over Bang Son, firing 20,500 rounds into a Viet Cong hilltop position, killing an estimated 300 Viet Cong troops and blunting their attack. The success of these two gunships prompted the establishment of an AC-47 squadron. By November 1965, the squadron, designated 4th Air Command Squadron, operated with 16 AC-47s from Tan Son Nhut Air Base in Vietnam. On April 5, 1968, a second AC-47 squadron, the 3rd Air Commando Squadron, started operating from Nha Trang. All AC-47s were converted by adding 3 miniguns firing out of the left side of the aircraft. Initially, gun pods were used. These pods, originally designed to hang underneath the wings of aircraft, were placed on special mounts for the gunships. Later gunships would use the MXU-470 miniguns instead. The miniguns were 6-barreled machine guns using a Gatling-type rotating barrel assembly to load and fire the gun. The advantage of this gun type was its high fire rate, between 2,000 and 6,000 rounds per minute. The guns were similar to the larger 20mm M61 Vulcan gun used in fighters, but used a smaller caliber round. Typically, the AC-47s cruised in a left-hand orbit at 120 knots airspeed at 3,000 feet. In such a pattern, the gunship could saturate a football field-sized target with gunfire in less than 10 seconds. An AC-47 would normally carry 45 flares and 24,000 rounds for the 3 miniguns, allowing it to loiter for many hours above the target. On February 24, 1969, Airman John Levitow boarded the AC-47 call sign Spooky 71 as a loadmaster. It was his job to set the ejection and ignition timers for the magnesium flares used to eliminate the targets for the AC-47. While on patrol, the crew noticed muzzle flashes outside Long Binh Army Base. The pilot threw the AC-47 in a banked turn. In the cargo bay, Levitow set the timers on the flares and handed them to the gunner, who ejected them out of the aircraft. Suddenly, Spooky 71 was jarred by an explosion. An enemy mortar shell had exploded against the right wing, showering the fuselage with shrapnel, wounding everybody in the cargo bay, including Levitow. The blast had knocked an armed flare out of the hands of the gunner. Levitow noticed the loose flare, with burning fuse rolling amid ammunition cans in the back of the AC-47. Despite his wounds and unable to stand due to the steep bank of the aircraft, Levitow crawled to the flare. Hugging the flare to his body, he dragged it to the open cargo door, where he pushed the flare out right before it ignited. Had the flare ignited amidst the ammunition cans, the resulting explosion would have destroyed the AC-47 in midair. For his action, Levitow received the Medal of Honor from President Nixon. As the need for more gunships rose, the Air Force initiated Project Gunship 2 and 3. Project Gunship 2 used C-130 Hercules aircraft converted to AC-130s. Unlike the AC-47, these aircraft could carry more heavier guns, ranging from miniguns, 20mm cannons, 40mm cannons, and even a 105mm howitzer. Project Gunship 3 used the C-190 flying boxcar, of which were more airframes available compared to the aging C-47 airframes. Like the AC-130, they carried more guns than the AC-47. A typical AC-119 loadout consisted of 4 miniguns and, depending the model, an extra 2 20mm MC cannons. With the AC-130s and the AC-190s taking over the gunship role, the remaining AC-47s were transferred to the Republic of Vietnam Air Force and various air forces sympathetic to the United States. In the end, 41 AC-47s served in Vietnam, with 12 lost in combat. Combat reports indicate that no village or hamlet under Spooky protection was ever lost, proving the value of this new concept. The heritage of the AC-47 lives on under the wings of the AC-130Gs serving in the United States Air Force. Thank you for watching. If you want to learn about other Vietnam-era aircraft, follow the links to these 2 videos.